When your own family starts treating you like an unwanted guest, you don't always fight back. Sometimes life fights on your behalf. And trust me, what destiny did to the woman who tried to replace me in my own family is something none of us were ready for. My name is Margaret Doyle, a 64-year-old widow from Colorado. And I never imagined that after giving my entire life to raising my son, Ethan, pouring my heart, my savings, and every ounce of love I had into making him the man he became one day, I would find myself quietly pushed out of the very life I built around him. But that is exactly what happened when he married Clara. A woman who walked into our lives with a gentle smile and soft voice. But underneath that sweetness was an insecurity so deep that it twisted into control, jealousy, and an unspoken competition I never knew I was a part of. At first, I didn't even notice it. She was charming, polite, and always eager to help, the kind of daughter-in-law any mother would feel grateful for. But small things began to shift. The weekly calls turned to bi-weekly, then monthly, and suddenly Ethan was too busy for Sunday dinner, too exhausted to stop by, too caught up to remember holidays I had celebrated with him since he was a child. And I began to sense it wasn't busyness, it was distance, intentional distance. It became clear the day I walked into their home for a casual dinner and saw Clara serve Ethan his favorite childhood meal, my recipe, cooked exactly the way I always made it, down to the seasoning and plating, and when Ethan said, "This is even better than Mom's," Clara smirked, just slightly, as if winning a battle I didn't know we were fighting. It stung, but I kept quiet, telling myself maybe I was imagining things. Maybe this was just part of life changing as children grow. But deep down, I knew something was shifting, something subtle, cold, and unsettling. Thanksgiving made it unavoidable. For 25 years, Thanksgiving happened in my home with my recipes, my traditions, my silverware, and my table settings, but last year, Clara insisted on hosting, and everyone, friends, cousins, extended family, was told to come to their place. I arrived with a pie and a smile, trying to stay positive, but when I stepped inside, my heart stopped. The setup was a recreated version of my dining room, same centerpiece style. Same tablecloth color, same candle arrangement. Even the dishes looked eerily similar, and Clara greeted everyone as if she had invented the traditions I spent decades building. People complimented her on the beautiful family culture she had created, and she accepted every bit of praise with a proud smile, never once acknowledging where it came from, while Ethan looked at her like she had hung the moon. I felt invisible, like a ghost attending her own funeral, but I bit my tongue. I didn't want to ruin Thanksgiving. I didn't want to look jealous or dramatic. I quietly sat at the corner of the table while everyone admired Clara's talents, and for the first time in my life, I felt like an outsider in my own family's tradition. After that night, things got worse. Ethan's calls became shorter, then rare. Plans we made were canceled last minute. Gifts I dropped off never received a response. It got to the point where I hesitated to call because I didn't want to feel like I was bothering my own son. One afternoon, after a full week of silence, I brought over food, hoping maybe they were swamped with work. But when I knocked, I heard whispering inside tents. Harsh whispering, and after a long moment, Clara opened the door just enough to block my view. Her eyes were cold, annoyed. "Now isn't a good time," she said sharply. I tried to explain I just came to check on them, but she cut me off. "Ethan and I need space. We're starting our own life now. You've had your time." My breath caught. My heart cracked. She didn't even say it kindly, just bluntly, confidently, like she had been waiting to deliver that line. Behind her, I heard Ethan's voice, but he didn't come forward. He didn't stand up for me. He didn't even look at me. I walked away from that house that day feeling like my role as a mother had been dismissed, quietly erased by a woman who felt threatened by my presence. Days turned into weeks. Ethan barely called. I faded into the background of his life, always on the outside, always waiting for a glimpse of the son I once knew. Then one night at 3:17 a.m., my phone rang. Ethan's name appeared on the screen, and before I could panic about why he'd be calling at such an hour, I answered and heard his trembling voice. "Mom, please come to the hospital." I didn't ask questions. I grabbed my coat and drove through the freezing Colorado night, praying nothing had happened to him. When I arrived, I found Ethan pacing the corridor, pale and shaking. When he saw me, he ran toward me like he used to as a little boy and collapsed into my arms. "It's Clara." She collapsed. My heart clenched. Despite everything she had done, despite the pain she caused, she was still family. I didn't want her harmed. The doctors explained she had been hiding a serious medical condition for years, something she kept secret out of fear, pride, and shame. Ethan was devastated. He had no idea. He felt blindsided, helpless. That night, everything changed. I stayed with him in the hospital, comforted him through the shock, took care of the paperwork, brought him food, and held him while he cried, because that's what mothers do, even when their hearts are bruised. Over the next days, as Clara stayed hospitalized, Ethan leaned on me in ways he hadn't in years. Little by little, the fog around him lifted. One evening, sitting beside Clara's bed while machines beeped around us, he whispered, "Mom, I'm so sorry. I let her push you away. I let her control everything. I thought I was doing the right thing, but I was hurting you." Tears streamed down his face. He looked like the little boy who used to run to me after scraping his knee. I held his hand and told him I forgave him because I did. I didn't blame him. I blamed insecurity, miscommunication, and the silent gaps that grew between us, but destiny wasn't finished. When Clara woke up and saw me sitting by her side, her eyes filled with confusion, then guilt. Her voice was weak when she asked, "Why are you here?" I answered calmly, truthfully, "Because family doesn't disappear when things get hard. And you're part of this family too." Her face crumbled. She began to cry quiet, painful tears. She whispered, "I thought you would take Ethan away from me. I thought I'd never measure up to you." And for the first time, I understood her. All her hostility, all her attempts to replace me, all her efforts to recreate my traditions, it came from insecurity, from fear, not hatred. I reached for her hand and said, "You don't have to compete with me. I just want to be part of his life. And yours." From that day forward, things changed, not instantly, not magically, but slowly, genuinely. Clara apologized not out of pity or desperation, but sincerely. During her recovery, she opened up about her fears, her rough childhood, her feelings of inadequacy. I shared my own struggles, too. We learned each other, slowly breaking down the invisible wall between us. Ethan, relieved to have peace, embraced the newfound harmony. Within months, the coldness that once filled their home was replaced with warmth, mutual respect, and laughter. Clara began inviting me to dinners, asking for my recipes, even asking for advice. She stopped trying to be another version of me and started being a better version of herself. Today, she insists on Sunday dinners at my place, calling me every week to ask, "Margaret, what should I bring?" Ethan visits more than ever. Our bond is stronger, wiser, shaped by pain, but healed through honesty. Clara hugs me every time she sees me, not out of obligation, but out of love. My son's wife once tried to replace me. But destiny had other plans. Plans that humbled her, awakened my son, and repaired a family that had nearly fallen apart.